Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. We've got the Bourne Legacy to talk about, the fourth out of our 5 Bourne movies that we're doing. We have the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric. Jason Bourne. Jesus Christ, that's Eric Goldman.
Oh, Bourne. Oh, Bourne. Well, it fell apart. I know it actually says, oh, baby, but since Moby was redoing it now for every
Oh, you were
movie,
doing Extreme Ways. Okay, yeah.
he should have changed it up. So they were saying, oh,
I don't
Bourne.
know. I can't recognize Extreme Ways without the like the opening part that cues you that the movie's ending. Like
Sure.
it either cues you that Jason Bourne is still alive or that the credits. I mean, basically the
Well,
credits are about to roll.
but and in this movie, that's very important because they forgot to write an ending.
They didn't have
So,
an ending to this, and he never meets Edward Norton, and nothing ever comes to any sort of fruition at all. This was my first time watching it, and we're going to talk about the Bourne Legacy, the Jason Bourne-less Bourne movie that happened in what 2012. When was this?
yeah, it was a Renner summer because Avengers came out this same summer.
And he was in the Maze Runner, right?
Renner was?
The Maze Renner, I said. I said the Maze Renner. It's a very funny joke, Eric.
Jesus Christ, that's a bad pun.
Jesus Christ. We've been memeified. So this was my first time watching this movie. And Eric, as you know, what a massive fan I am of guys in an office far away in chairs tracking Jason Bourne, talking over each other. Man, was this such a treat for me. This was so great. Eric, 4 new assholes to watch out of nowhere.
It's funny because I meant to mention this on the first movie where you were very negative about assholes at computers. But I do think you see.
You are the biggest fucking man in a chair apologist I've ever heard of.
No, I'm just gonna say, and I'm not saying it's the same thing, but I can see here that where Gilroy and Andor will do a bunch of Imperials sitting around a table arguing with each other. He's into this shit. He's into like
but
guys.
at least they're all dressed interestingly because they're in outer space.
If they'd had those little tubes.
Not only do we deal with the stuff because the bizarre choice was to make this run parallel in a very fucking Saw 4 way to Bourne Ultimatum. Like this was going on in the background the whole time. And guess what? It's more important because Jason Bourne is just the tip of the iceberg. They even say that. So it's like, it's just this never ending stupid nesting doll of like agencies within agencies within agencies. But this is the main agency we're supposed to care about. Anyway, so now we've got Edward Norton, Stacy Keach, Corey Stoll, and Dennis Boutsikaris all just sort of chiming in. And we don't know who any of them are, what any of them do. We don't know who's reports to who. And we still have Scott Glenn appearing, and David Strathairn, and Pam Landy. All, by the way, this ends with Pam Larry almost being indicted, and she'll probably be indicted and framed for everything. I don't know, because I haven't seen the 5th movie, if this gets resolved at all. And Eric, let me tell you, if this whole thing that I just invested 3 movies in with the Landy arc winds up with her going to prison, or just winds up with nothing, I'm going to be super pissed. Just so you know. Because I don't think this movie was a smash hit, so I could fully see them dropping all of this. I don't know what
the Landy arc is a good title, though.
The Landy arc is not a good title. It's just what I had. All I had. It's all I had to go on. Jesus Christ, that's Aaron Cross. This is Jeremy Renner's movie, and yeah. So there was a chance they could do a prequel, they could do a whatever, but just having it so closely tethered to the events of the Bourne Ultimatum, where it's like, oh, this is going on in the background, and because of the things of Bourne Ultimatum is Edward Norton's character's decision to like kill everything in his program. I think that was, I don't know. I think that was a less than ideal idea. I don't know. I wanted something. It doesn't mean that like there's no room for side stories within this universe. But the fact that they didn't make it a side story, almost like the fact that they needed to incorporate it so heavily into the texture of the last 2 movies is bizarre to me.
Well, it's funny because I have a couple minds about it. I enjoyed it conceptually. I remember watching this movie and being like, oh shit, when you see Simon, the reporter at the beginning, and that's our first thing that this is going to be, this overlap is happening. And I thought that was fun that they were doing that, but it is also a strange decision because you could have just picked up in the aftermath with the hearings and just gone from there, right? And it still would have.
Exactly. You could have still just continued it without having to sort of lay it on top of the other movie. And I do wonder if it's because Gilroy was doing this and was directing, and it was like, let's just put this in Gilroy's hands completely, really. That he's like, my precious Landy characters are so important to me. Like if someone else had done this, it would not have been done this way, you know.
But it was almost. I wonder if it was a strange test he gave himself, because on one hand, again, he only wrote the first draft of Ultimatum, and Frank Marshall's like, it's still his story. So I don't know if in his first draft, I'm guessing maybe in his first draft, it was always going to be we're going to catch up to that final scene of Bourne and Landy from the second movie, right? Which already made the third movie this interesting time overlap thing.
So that it worked already. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. But now what's funny here is, I told you about that big profile with Gilroy from 2009, so 2 years after Ultimatum, and in it, where they talked about what happened with Ultimatum, it said, to this date, he's never watched the movie. So it's funny here, they hire him back, he's going to write and direct. Obviously, he's going to need to watch the movie if he's going to write the fourth, but now he gives himself this challenge. The movie he only wrote the first draft of, walked away from, was very dismissive of. Now he's going to super intertwined to. It's like, did he think it was a
I'm going to make a good movie out of this bad movie.
It's interesting that he
didn't. He did the opposite. He made the good movie, the third part of the trilogy that many said was like the rare third movie that pays off. He made it stupid because he wove all of this thing in the whole thing with while this was happening with the phone call in New York, Strathern's assistant was calling Edward Norton's character and telling him what was Bourne's in New York and all this stuff. And then the whole Albert Finney doctor, well, he's going to tie to our doctor, who is part of this secret viral lab that Rachel Weisz works for. I feel bad for Rachel Weisz, which is not to say she's a bad actress. I feel like
because she's ugly.
Yeah, well, she's hideous. I could barely look at the screen. I have to sort of, this is when I look at my phone, is that it's one of those things where it's just like, why can't she have a British accent? Like, why can't she have a regular accent? She's a scientist working in a virus lab. It's not a stretch that she just came from England or the UK or wherever.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
So, and she has a lot of yelling to do in this movie, like a lot of yelling at the fake cops that come to her door with Elizabeth Marvel and other people. She's just like, I don't know. She's also a piece of shit. I know that I guess she's slightly redeemed because she winds up being targeted and goes on the run, but she is a piece of shit, which is like, he is like, how are you this naive? What do you think we're doing? She is accepted a role in a position of a clandestine government agency to do human test experiments. She's not a good person. So and so I don't feel like she's this helpless victim here. She is the natural consequence of her actions, Eric, were to be the fake suicide that he rescues her from. Like that's how she goes out, like Dr. Hirsch goes out with the quote unquote heart attack off screen.
Right.
She's not a good person. Anyway, there's good action in this movie. I think it was also bizarre to keep Jeremy Renner in Alaska for 45 minutes.
I thought the same thing. Because
so weird.
It's so weird. Okay, so let me step back for a second to say I hadn't seen this movie in a long time. My overall memories of this movie were this. I enjoyed the movie. I liked the time overlap, and I thought it was absolutely bizarre that it had no ending, that it just stops, in a really strange way. Rewatching it, first of all, I said, whoa, this is the longest one when I sat down and saw the runtime. And then, yes, he is in 48 minutes when he gets in that plane and takes off. I'm like, this is very strange to keep him. This could have all the stuff with Oscar Isaac, all that could have happened in the first 20 minutes. Why does it take so long?
Because I'll tell you why, Eric.
Yeah.
You know what else is the bulk of those near hour cinematic experience? all those fucking douchebags in chairs talking to each other about like this is bad for us. What are we gonna do? Where's Jason Bourne? Is this gonna get back to us? Do we have to destroy the whole thing? Talk to this guy. No, talk to this guy. Scott Glenn has to talk to Stacey Keach, and Stacey Keach has to go talk to Edward Norton, who's like jogging at 4 a.m. in the rain.
But Matt, don't you enjoy getting to see Scott Glenn talk to Stacey Keach?
Not enough. Not enough. Not as much as this movie thinks I should. I don't know who anyone is with anyway. So because then it's like he goes to Stacey Keach, and I'm like, oh, the buck stops with this guy, and then they're like, no, the buck stops with this guy, and he's supposed. I guess it's like he's so intense he can only jog in the middle of the night in bad weather. So anyway, that's what also the bulk of this movie is during the Alaska part, which is like because it just cuts back and forth between the lab, these idiots, and him in his survival mode, which, you know, it takes, you figure out what's going on in Alaska. It's like he's being punished for going off grid for whatever reason. They don't even get into that, right? They don't even get into any of his regrets per se, except for that one flashback with Edward Norton. But like, it's so weird that they had that flashback meaning that they know each other, and then they never like meet in the end of the movie. Like,
I have
there's no circle element to this movie at all. Like,
it's really strange because I saw an interview Gilroy did a couple of years ago. So like while he was doing like Andor promotion, and he talked about how, you know, this movie was obviously, we should mention, Damon turned down doing this movie because he said, I will not do another Bourne movie without Paul Greengrass. And Paul Greengrass didn't want to do a Bourne movie again yet. So Damon out. So, but Universal wants more. So they decide to do, like, they have to do some sort of spinoff, some sort of side story. And it's funny because Gilroy in this interview a couple years ago said, yeah, this was our attempt to make it into a cinematic universe. I get it. I get that this is MCU exploding era of everyone wants a cinematic universe. Bourne's already a hit franchise. Let's build it out. There's nothing wrong with that inherently. But this is like almost the cliche that people act like Marvel movies do this a lot more than they do. Because yes, they have those mid-credit scenes that tease something next, but they still feel like complete stories most of the time. This one doesn't. And like this one is like such a we're a cinematic universe.
They don't even do us the service in this movie of having Renner's character meet Landy or David Strathairn's character or meet anyone connected to the other movies. That's the thing. It's like, oh shit, he's talking to someone we know. Because they don't even have him meet the people in his own movie, much less the previous movies. They only have him meet Rachel Weisz, and that's all. Like, that's all he.
Yeah, it's like, imagine if the first movie didn't end with him meeting Chris Cooper and Julia Stiles. Like, yeah, like nobody. Like, he just like doesn't encounter anybody.
He just gets away. Yeah,
right.
Which is what happens here. And I guess in this movie, gives himself permanent superpowers. I did like the element of the movie where it's like, I need this to be viraled into me permanently. It's like, why? Well, how do I put this? I was a moron. And I don't want to go back to being a stupid dum-dum. So please don't make my brain devolve.
This movie gets a little more blatant too, with it like being a super soldier program. Because where the other movies were like, hey, they're the best of the best, they're super highly trained, but now they're getting more into like enhancement, like
Operation Outcome. Yeah, and I think maybe we were supposed to get a handle of that. Like he's taking those pills and he's in the Alaskan wilderness. That is Renner actually going into that freezing cold water. But again, like he's running from wolves. He's cliffhanger leaping over that gorge for forever. And then I guess Oscar Isaac was Gilroy's top choice for this role, but
to be the lead, yeah.
Like he tested for it, he did a lot of things, and it just was a no-go because he was a non-commodity at the time, and it was something that he understood. But he got this role, which, it's a fine role, whatever. But like, he's just part of this, program, Operation Outcome. I guess there were 9, now there are 6, and they're just killing them all off. So he's just trying not to be killed. They killed 3 of them with poison. They kill him with a drone. I guess.
Yeah. It's funny because
that's only 5, but anyway, I don't know where everyone else is. Yeah,
the hierarchy of it all. Yeah, because in this movie, it feels like, and I'm not against the choice, right? Because in a series known for casting, older actors with gravitas to play these guys, which makes sense. That's what you usually do with like the power brokers, the guys doing the shifty stuff. To cast Norton, who's obviously a younger actor, to be like the most powerful one in theory, right? Who's like shutting it all down, who wants everything shut down. But I still think, yeah, it's kind of shaky still. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if there's still another guy behind Norton because it's like,
That's the thing. Yeah. Well, I will say that I think this would have been a better movie, if it hadn't, so the choice to tether it so closely to the last two movies, just I think short-sheeted this movie unduly. But if they had just run the Bourne's identity program again, like followed the blueprint of Bourne Identity, assassin, maybe brainwashed, maybe just not knowing what he's doing, not wanting to kill a kid or realizing what he's doing is terrible or accidentally killing civilians and turning against his own agency and going, he doesn't have to have amnesia, but maybe he has a change of heart. And it's him taking the war to his own people. Like if they'd just done that part of the first two Bourne movies in a way and just done a kind of like gracious retread, this would have been just a fine, better movie. Like this movie is too complicated to have a non-ending. Like it's so crazy. So much of it is tied up in Washington politics that for nothing to happen, no house of cards to get toppled by the end of it is bizarre. Anyway.
Although a couple of these actors would go on to be in House of Cards.
We always can now play the MCU game because it's our Harry Potter.
Oh, yes. I mean,
this is like when Hawkeye, when Incredible Hulk tries to kill Hawkeye, aided by Yellow Jacket, but then he teams up with Black Widow, and so
right. This movie is oops, almost all Marvel actors left in, and don't forget Moon Knight, his buddy who gets blown up.
Yeah, I mean, but that actually is Moon Knight. It's just one of his personas.
Right. It's so I really don't, even talking it through, I don't have the issue with the intertwining. I think it could just be a fun, cool part of the movie, but I just think it needs to loop together better at the end to, make it all worth it. And and just you vocalizing the fact that he never meets any of the legacy characters, which is funny, the title of the movie, when there's several in the movie. And so it's like, if you're gonna do that, like, it's just so strange. Landy would be the most obvious because she's already Bourne's ally, and because they make it clear early on, with Stacy Keach says it, they're gonna try to make her the fall person for all this, which was already the plan of the second movie. But they're gonna try to do that again, and so if he could have somehow looped it back to him helping her again. I'm guessing this was all a plan for the sequel that we didn't get.
Yeah. You just told me that you didn't get it.
I'm saying that Jeremy Renner's not in the next one. You know that, right?
Yeah, but
it's like the Jeremy Renner.
You just Final Destination 5.
I did not Final Destination 5 you. Because I assume this would have been like at some point because everyone's still in play except for Albert Hirsch. Albert Finney came back and did that one scene.
Albert Finney is Dr. Hirsch. Yes.
That they did. He did film a new scene for this movie, but then they have him. Obviously, it's like that they're tying up all their loose ends. So he dies, but of course they killed him off. I would assume that Aaron Cross would be involved in all of this. If they thought that they could never get Damon back, it's like, okay, he's going to tie into all of this stuff. But the fact that the end of the movie. Yeah, it's just so strange that him and Norton never meet or never even talk. Even if they talked, if they had
on a phone, right?
Yeah. If they had some conversation, especially because he's not an amnesiac. So it's like he's already met Rachel Weisz's character. He's already met Norton's character. He knows them. He's got that. And, obviously they try to make it that he is not, not the sort of colder persona Jason Bourne can be when you first meet him. And so when he meets Oscar Isaac, he's like, "Hi, I'm Aaron." And he's like, a much more sort of outgoing person. But if they just needed to loop it back with Norton, it's so strange they didn't. So I will say, I didn't, this rewatch, I wasn't like, now I hate this movie, but I was way more like, there are so many things wrong with this movie where I'm like, this is just very strange choices structurally. Why they sort of did it the way they did it.
I don't hate the movie. I'm sort of confounded by it, and they also, first of all, they do have a final showdown and a final assassin, which is that's Predator franchise's Louis Ozawa Changchin
Mm-hmm.
as apparently a super soldier from a different program
That
maybe would
is,
be
but and
introduced.
that's an hysterical extra
Yeah,
touch.
LAR X3 is like the best of everything.
Because in a movie that's already introducing a third iteration with outcome, but then having Ed Norton's character say, because we're in trouble, we're wiping it all. Everyone needs to go. Treadstone, Blackbriar, an outcome which we didn't even know about. They all have to go to then say, guess what? There's a fourth group that we haven't even talked about. What about those guys? They get to still be around.
So apparently this is like people with no empathy at all, which I thought that's what Treadstone was, like with the killing and everything.
Yeah, but I will say they do a good job because it's a very cool final chase. First on foot, rooftops, then on the motorcycle chase through the streets of Manila. I reminded Trish watching this, hey, this is all in the Philippines where she's from, because we'd both forgotten that because we hadn't seen this movie in forever. But I do think he is definitely sort of the coldest we've ever seen of these guys, because he even the way he is so violent with the guy whose motorcycle he takes, but also the moment when he tries to smash the bus into Aaron.
I like the spinning bus. I like some of the action in this. I love when and I was watching a few behind the scenes, and most of the behind the scenes of this movie is either Tony Gilroy or the actors just paying lip service to the difference between this new Bourne adventure and the others, or the stunt work, which is usually the standout stuff, which is that when he scales up the fucking house and then shoots Elizabeth Marvel was awesome.
That was great. It's all done in one shot.
He's got wires we can't see, which I don't give a shit about. But because I watched it, I'm like, that was Renner doing that, right? And so he did a lot of this own stunt stuff. Like he jumped off things and did his tumble rolls, and a lot of the stuff was him.
That's really cool.
More than I thought. Again,
yeah, because I wondered. I'm so glad you're telling me that. I wondered, did I miss a Texas switch or an invisible cut to the stuntman? And so you telling me, oh, it was just Renner with wires, it makes it extra cool, because that's a great moment.
Because there's another building he climbs up to. There was also an element here that I don't know that was present unless it was completely sort of invisible in the other movies, which is there was some CG in this. We're now a few years ahead of the last of the trilogy, and even though it's grounded and gritty and supposed to be no frills, there's the explosion of the drone on the cabin, that was a CG explosion. Instead, it didn't look bad, but it wasn't a actual practical explosion. I don't believe, as far as it looked CG to me. And then the wolves, which you can't really help, and they're not terrible. The craziest thing in this movie, though, is the wolf fight making it swallow the fucking tracker.
And then blowing it
up. That felt almost like parody.
Well, it's funny because they have that weird part about the wolves are following him, and why would that even be? There's no answer for it. It just they just do.
So then once he survives and fakes his own death, he's kind of in the clear, except that then the rest of the movie is one man's plight to not be a dummy. That's the whole thing, is he goes after her because he thinks he needs these pills. He doesn't, but he does and he doesn't, which is he can just go back to being a doofus, whatever he was.
What an idiot.
But he doesn't want that, so that he makes her go to the fucking Philippines. So
what was his real name? Kelson or something?
Kenneth Kitsum.
Yeah. Kenneth Kitsum, town dullard. Doesn't want to go back to that. Understandable. That was the other thing about this movie that I always remembered. The second degree memory I had of this movie is the Twitter memed thing from this movie was that how the whole movie, if you went by Twitter, was him saying chems, and how they won't stop saying chems. They do say it a lot. They don't say it as much as people acted like they said it. They say it a lot. Don't get me wrong. But it's I just remember people saying, oh, the whole movie. Although there's the one part where I think that really made it become memeable is that when he first meets Rachel Weisz and he is yelling, where are the chems? I need the chems. And because he repeats it in that scene a bit, I think that kind of turned it into a whole thing.
That's why he was town dullard. Chem Kitsum. But yeah. what I'll
Ken
say,
Kitsum needs his chems.
the lore is needlessly complicated for like just a super soldier program, which is to say, this movie sets up. Okay, so the Treadstone Blackbriar of it all is like these assassins who are conditioned under harsh, torturous circumstances to become new people with no identity, which is weird because we face Jason Bourne with we meet him with amnesia, but like, who is he as Jason Bourne? Did he remember his real name anyway? We don't like, are these people aware that they were who they were previously to begin with?
I think it's funny because I was listening.
Are they brainwashed? Right?
Yeah,
like
because I was re-listening to our Born Identity episode, and you were saying they were brainwashed, and I was like, were they brainwashed? I don't think that they were brainwashed, but they were conditioned, right? It's like they do the thing of like, we're gonna turn you cold-hearted, we're gonna make you not think about this thing.
He's a cold-hearted snake.
My assumption, based on what we learned later, is that Jason Bourne, until the amnesia, probably could tell you my name is David Webb if he needed to.
My name is David Webb. I would say that, but then the outcome dudes don't seem conditioned at all. Like they're being tested on with these pills, right, to like enhance their intelligence and their physicality, right? Mm-hmm. Super soldiers. In what's supposed to be a realistic way. There's like a whole thing in the car where she's explaining the science, and I'm like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, it got too deep into, yeah.
But they seem like Aaron Cross seems like a normal dude, like a cool dude with attitude. And these guys are actively also going off book because these are two punished guys in Alaska. One got exiled to Alaska because he fell in love. These do not seem like conditioned people like the Treadstone dudes, right?
Right.
So they seem different. Then a third other thing is that I guess you can Manchurian candidate people, because what happens to Jelko Ivanek in that laboratory? They like take control of him, right?
Yeah,
like, they make him, because at first I thought he's killing everyone because he discovered some bad science, and he's like, this can never get out into the world. I need to kill everyone involved. That's what I thought, but it turns out he was like he was brainwashed. Like that was the point of that, right?
That's what I felt like. So
that's a whole new thing.
Right, because it's not like we saw him get like a message, like he was extra deep cover to do whatever they wanted. Because again,
like if whether or not the Treadstone dudes are black or brainwashed, whatever, they're probably not. I probably misread it, but like now they can brainwash civilians, which is like this guy's not a soldier. They just make this guy in the lab
the scientist
kill everybody.
Yeah.
So that seems like the big evil technology here is that they can just control people to be assassins.
That's when they were going to reveal the brain scrambler.
Meet our Operation Outcome's latest addition to its faculty, Dr. Mindbender.
Yes, excited by that.
This is when we get the whole G.I. Joe crossover. Yeah.
I did like Edward Norton in that one scene, the flashback, telling Renner that they are sin eaters. I do like the line. I mean, Gilroy is good with these like one-liners, like we are morally indefensible and absolutely necessary. But yeah, it's just like a lot of things on top of themselves in this movie.
You did not watch Fargo season 5, right?
No.
Okay, there's a sin eater aspect to that story.
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny because it's a running thing in the movie that they're going to try to make Landy take the fall for all this. It's the last thing in the movie we see with both Noah, David Strathairn, and her, is that they're trying to make her take the fall for this. And then we see the newspaper that they're trying to discredit Marta, Rachel Weisz's character, and say like her troubled past. I mean, now that she's on the run, and because the movie doesn't resolve anything, it's like we don't know what her.
We're just supposed to be happy that they're on a boat and I guess in love now,
maybe,
and on the run. Yeah, they don't even kiss, so whatever. But she's looking at him all doughy-eyed and like, I hope we never get found. I hope we're lost at sea forever. I'm sure the people running the boat don't feel that way, but that's fine.
Well, they're gonna kill them.
If we kill them, we could just stay out here. He's like, I like the way you think. Yeah.
It's funny how they brought back because David Strathairn is in a healthy amount of this
You
movie.
never say the R at the end of his name, but that's fine.
I thought you don't. I thought that was my whole thing. I thought like,
oh, do you not say that? Because I pronounce it the way my mom pronounced it, but maybe she pronounced it wrong. She knew him, but that doesn't mean that she was
but
correct.
I remember thinking you should say it, but then people saying it without. So, but you might be right. But he's in a healthy amount of this movie. But it is funny that they brought back Albert Finney, Scott Glenn, and Joan Allen for like one scene each. I think Scott Glenn might be in two scenes. To like, it's like they very quick cameos to just be like, you're still part of this universe. Although Albert Finney then is killed off screen.
Did Aaron kill the friendly security guard at the Manila facility? Like,
I don't think he killed him.
Did he killed him, or did he just ruin his life?
Yeah. And then I do like that Aaron is good with the distractions. First when he knocks out the guy and then yells like, "We need help!" Like the guy he just knocked out. And then when he makes that poor woman drop all her oranges at the ferry to distract everyone. So he's just knocking people out, knocking oranges out of people's
That was
hands.
her Joker moment. She's like, I swear to God, if one more orange related thing happens to me today.
Right.
Yeah. And then like the action in this, a lot of it is sort of at first just in Alaska, whether it's chasing wolves or fighting the drone or whatever, or being chased by wolves, not chase. He's chasing the wolves. Like, get over here.
He's like,
but then there's the big fight with the fake, FBI agents out to kill Marta, which is a cool house fight. But then the big set piece thing is the Manila fight, chase, parkour, motorcycle, cop car, bus thing that happens. I did like the falling down into the very narrow alley.
It's great. Yeah.
He got to be Ethan Hunt there. It's interesting because he comes from the Mission Impossible movies of this guy, that character not being an usually action capable field agent is the point of him, right? And here he gets to be basically Ethan Hunt and have the very narrow hallway fight before Ethan Hunt got to 10 years later. Yeah.
Though people, they now have backtracked, even though I kind of think it's bullshit, the backtracking, that they were ever thinking of Renner taking over the Mission movies when he came in the fourth one. If you don't believe that, and I'm have my skepticism about that, it is funny that within a year, and I remember people joking about this at the time, Jeremy Renner being brought in the fourth movie of a long-running action franchise to take it over. The thought being he was now going to be like the face of the franchise, but it didn't happen that way. I mean, he was in one more Mission movie, only did the one Bourne. But yeah, that moment, I think the biggest like fuck yeah moment is when he slides down those two walls that are so close to each other. That's a great sequence. I say sequence. It's really like you just said, like almost three sequences on top of each other. And the house fight is really fun. It's just strange. Again, it speaks to the weirdness of the first hour of this movie that's the real first action set piece, because the wolf stuff I wouldn't think of in the same way, and just how much they should have condensed.
No, you want to see him fight people. You want to see him fight other capable people or just kick people's ass. But like, then after that, it's so draggy as they are in their chairs tracking them. We need eyes on it. Get the satellite picture. Where's the car? There she is at the airport. All the same bullshit. As they go to Manila, just so that he can keep being smart. Which is, again, is a lot of big stuff happening in this movie, and yet when you really break it down, it's a lot of small stuff. It's just small choices. I don't think anyone's bad in the movie. I always think the people who are yelling in the offices have kind of shit assignments for those type of people. Edward Norton's a great actor. This is not befitting of his acting. It's just him.
See, I really like him playing this type of role. Like, there's something about him getting to play, maybe partially because
I just think they established that anyone who's in this role has to be a veteran acclaimed actor. Like they kind of painted themselves into a little bit of a corner. There's no way they can introduce a new person here who is not won or nominated for an Academy Award at some point.
right. It is an embarrassment of riches with these actors. It's funny that Pam Landy gets to be the only one who's like really trying to be a good person, because they're all
every time we say Pam Landy, by the way, I think of the soundbite that Kevin and Bean used to use all the time of
Pam Anderson.
Yes, exactly. Leslie Nielsen asking for whatever, I can't remember the context, of Pam Anderson on a red carpet or something. Pam Anderson.
Someone asked him a question about her, and he like repeated her name in that funny questioning way, like Pam Anderson. But yeah, I like Norton playing like an outright villain here, but again, they introduced the idea because yes, obviously the previous Bourne movies, Chris Cooper was Bourne's boss, and a lot of these characters had interacted with him before. But here, that flashback does make it seem like the Norton character and Aaron Cross had a different sort of relationship. Maybe even you could call them, you would think from that one scene, was there some sort of friendship there? Something that would make it different, but then there's no follow-up on that. He doesn't seem to care about Cross in any way. Cross doesn't ever talk about him, so we don't know what he thinks about him. Yeah. By the way, which it was very funny to me because I guarantee you the Gilroy brothers thought about this because as a kid who grew up with the name Eric, I was hyper conscious that the name Aaron, which was a classmate of mine, are very similar sounding and easy to misunderstand from afar. Well, Edward Norton's character is Eric,
but they call him Rick.
but then I think it's just
they say give me Rick Byer unless I misheard it. I said I'm going to call Rick Byer.
It's Eric and Aaron, so I think there was someone's idea of they have these similar names, they're yin and yang, but then there's no real usage of that again because they never see each other in the present. Ooh, I have a funny timeline. So first of all, as you were talking about like the saw of it all, the time overlapping timeline, I thought it would be funny to try. Has anyone done the super edit where they're trying to edit 2 through 4 together? Now that
I don't think the fandom is that deep of this.
I think there's someone out there, but yes, it's not.
I know that there's a fucking lock for every key, but I'm saying like I don't know that. Yeah, it's not like Star Wars where somebody will do that or who was it that like made the whole like chronological cut? What actor like went back and like
Topher Grace did the
prequel? In my head, I'm like, it's either Topher Grace, Ethan Embry, or fucking Elijah Wood. One of these assholes did it.
Did the prequel trilogy, and then there, of course, I mean, now that there's 30, almost 40 movies, I don't know if they're still doing it, but people used to do supercuts of the MCU in chronological order, like take Thor and Captain America and put that stuff earlier.
Insanity.
But it is funny. I was because when I'm watching this movie, I thought, it's funny. It's funny to think that this movie is supposed to take place retroactively in 2004 or 2005 because, Bourne Supremacy opened 2 years after Bourne Identity, and then now we've had 3 sequels that all take place overlapping, and I'll talk it through here. Bourne Ultimatum did have a line where Bourne says, I was searching for answers for 3 years. So they shift Supremacy a year further to 2005, let's say, if the first movie is 2002. So then it's like, okay, 2 through 4 all take place in 2005, 3 years after. But then Noah, David Strathairn, he has a line near the end when he's speaking, when they're doing all this follow-up, trying to fix all their problems when he's speaking to the committee. And he talks about how, we had a minor problem with Treadstone 6 years ago, which I assume is the first movie. So now, but I'm like 6 years ago, where did that number come from? Right. So are you trying to tell me 2 through 4 take place 6 years after Bourne Identity? That doesn't match up at all. So that happens a lot with sequels, obviously.
I was at Texas Frightmare this weekend, and they did a
Matt just accidentally played something. If you heard,
that. Well, that's weird that you heard that because remember how many times I've tried to get my phone to be heard?
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it would play, but like you wouldn't hear it. Anyway, I don't know how microphones work, but I was at Texas Frightmare, and they did a look back at the Scream, specifically the 1996 movie, and not like because there were other Scream actors present, but it was only the people involved with the first movie panel. But then there was a 20 years of Saw, which is to say. It's been more than 20 years, but are they just counting when the last movie came out? I don't know. But anyway, it's a big Saw retroactive. I was there with my girlfriend, and she'd never seen a Saw movie. I don't need her to go through and see all the Saw movies. I don't know that she would enjoy them necessarily. I don't want to do that. But I was like, hey, maybe there's a recap of Saw. But then she found herself very interested in, because we watched a recap of the movies, which was fine. It was like a looper thing, and they did an okay job. But there's a full chronology of like, Saw in chronological order because there's so many flashbacks and apprentices and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So just to know that the bulk of every movie up until Jigsaw was taking place between 2004 and 2006, like it was all just those years alone. And the guy is CZ's World, if you want to watch it, horror history guy who does this. He bases it all on documents that you can see on the movie of like when this evidence was collected and when this happened, and anytime anyone said that was 2 weeks ago or you've been suspended for 6 months. Like he really goes into depth of when you place these dates and like what it happens. Very interesting. So that's what I recommend. Yeah, but yeah, it all takes place over the course of like 2 years. So yeah,
right. It's just so funny. These franchises where it's like you're making the sequel in the moment, and it's hard for them. I understand. Like they just have to make a movie, and there's a lot of moving parts to a movie. So they just think it'd be fun to do this, and then they don't know that people are going to be studying it to this minutia. I mean, I'm going back Friday 13th. The fact that Friday 13th 2 through 4 take place within like a week, but no one was consciously thinking that. They just thought, we'll just pick up where the last one left off.
Or it was the type of geeky conversation someone would have that Kevin Smith would like then sort of echo in his dialogue for his movies. Like these are the type of conversations you have, off the internet because it doesn't exist with your friends, like, hey, did anyone realize that these movies take place, especially when the VHSs came out and you can actually watch them all back to back and realize that this is what's going on. To talk about Saw some more, because it seems more interesting now than Bourne. I then was like, hey, you should see some of the traps. A lot of people at Frightmare with the reverse bear trap cosplay going on. Some with like Jill's exploded head, which was really cool. Anyway, I was like, hey, is there like a ranking the Saw traps? And I don't know what it is with YouTube, Eric. You're more a part of that world than I am, but like the impetus for videos needing to be an hour or more is insane. I was like, maybe there's a top 10. We found a top 10 that made me so furious. And again, I don't need it all to line up, but the two people running this top 10 Saw traps were Australian. I don't know if they were a couple. It was a man and a woman.
Hey, Saw began with two Australian filmmakers
who loves Saw 5 so much.
Wait, what?
Okay, are you with me? Okay, that the first trap, number 10, was the pendulum trap. Again, a trap not designed to be escaped. This is a fucking Hoffman special that he used. Like the pendulum trap was 10.
It's a good visual.
And they said basically like, well, it had to be here because we love Saw 5 so much. And I was like, excuse me, what the fuck just happened? Then they all guess what number 1 was? The crushing room. But in between was the water trap where he gave himself the tracheotomy. I'm just saying that they went heavy on the Saw 5 and it was upsetting. So
that's funny. Yeah. I would not expect that. I mean, again, I understand that I'm not saying don't include anything from Saw 5, but that's a lot.
All right, I guess we could talk about the Bourne Legacy.
No, I was just going to say that because these 3 movies take place with right on top of each other, in some respects at the same time, but then this one goes beyond, but only by, we'd assume, a couple weeks. Like, it seems like it's all happening. There's this weird little wiggle room, which is how long are these hearings taking place? Like, in my insane answer is like 3 years to explain that continuity here. But I also know this movie came out in 2012. In technology, that's a long way away from 2004 when Supremacy came out. And I don't think they cared about reverse engineering it so that the computers and the phones all would look right to match Supremacy. So I'm sure that there's some like tech that doesn't match up as far as like what was being used in Supremacy and what was being used in
no one's still going around with smartphones, it seems, so that still works.
I guess you're right. They do mostly.
So they do yeah. Like no one has the internet in the palm of their hand, so that's fine. He does not go to an internet cafe in Manila, though. That was very upsetting.
That is sad. Lost opportunity. I'm glad that Matt Damon gave his likeness rights so they could keep showing that same picture they've been showing since the first movie.
I guess I said he doesn't meet any legacy character, but I guess just seeing Jason Bourne's carved name in the Alaskan bunk,
yes,
which is weird. Which means,
and then he starts masturbating. That was weird.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, he's like. But first of all, that means Jason Bourne messed up, right? Like if he wound up there, I don't know. Then they also say something. Take everything back to Emerald Lake. Don't know what that means. Is it where Weapon X is? I don't know, but maybe that was for the sequel that you said that isn't going to happen. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll mention this now. We'll mention it again next week because I didn't remember that it is interesting to read that before Damon and Greengrass decided they would come back, they announced a sequel to Legacy with Renner returning and Justin Lin directing. So like that was announced.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they did plan on it, I suppose, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they were moving forward with that at the time, but obviously that is not what ended up happening because Damon and Greengrass did come back. Yeah, to me it was like it felt weird, like especially when they bring in the Larks of it all, because it just was so strange that in a movie that was like we're wiping the slate clean of everything, that there's this extra other thing that we haven't heard about yet to come in here suddenly in a strange way. But who's to say?
Maybe for this movie, instead of Extreme Ways, they should have used U2's Mysterious Ways.
Hmm.
I'm just saying, switch it up because, obviously Extreme Ways has a very recognizable opening sound, cueing you that the song's headed our way and the end credits. But so does Mysterious Ways. It goes, meow. Yeah.
Well, the two things that were different this time with the Extreme Ways closing credits were first version with orchestral music in it. Again, he kept redoing the song from the third one on. So this one it gets orchestral, but also they stay on the shot of the boat. They don't go to the cool moving lines that the other ones all do. I was a little sad to lose the moving lines. I like the moving lines.
I'm sad for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm more sad that the movie just ended and I felt empty inside.
That was like I vividly remember seeing this opening night, enjoying it, and then being baffled when it went to credits. Like just because Ed Norton hadn't come back. Like he kind of just vanishes. Like last we see him, he's like, I think he calls in Lark. I think that's like the last thing is like, get in this other guy. And then he just vanishes. I don't know if Gilroy's ever gone around. Gilroy seems to like to kind of be open about things after the fact. I would be very curious to ask him, like, what was it? I'm sure part of it was he'll be back in the sequel, but it seems no matter what, strange to not show him at the end one more time.
There are deleted scenes.
Okay.
I wonder what they are. I didn't catch them though. So maybe
I might go check them out. Let's see what's going on. But yeah, 3
deleted scenes. But yeah, so look for them wherever deleted scenes are sold.
Okay, sounds. I'm looking at my notes. Wolfie Kablooey, Oscar Isaac Kablooey, lots of things.
Oh, you're just trying to catch anything that falls through. Yeah, go ahead.
I liked Bourne's. I do love in spy movies. And he always had, the safe house, all the different things. I like that not only did he have a car, which we've seen, but he had that panel where you had the IDs and the license plates. I thought that was a fun little spin on having your next identities ready for you. That was cool.
You don't have one of those bags, Eric?
I should.
Yeah,
what parking
really
lot
you should go. Yeah. Oh man, you're 2000 and late.
He was his was in Chicago, which is where I was born. So maybe I should put one in Chicago.
Maybe you have one waiting for you. Ask your parents.
Oh shit! Maybe
you're like, Dad, where's my go?
That's bag? Your legacy. I mean, the 1975 plates might be a problem, but figure it out.
All right. Up next is Jason Bourne, the final of these Bourne flicks, and there's no more on the way. What's Universal's
coming
in the Bourne verse?
Universal's working on a full reboot because Damon's basically said he's done again. Yeah. So
they're just going to tell the same first story over.
I don't know. I mean, probably a version.
What they should have done here.
It's probably a version of it. And I'll just say ahead of time, I'll repeat myself next week. I do not like. And I know why they did it. They named it Jason Bourne because they wanted people to know Matt Damon was back. But I don't like losing the naming style with the Bourne something.
I'm more okay with it because it's the last movie. If they kept doing them and this one just stood out weirdly in the midst of it, I would be upset. But because it's like a bookend, I'll forgive it.
All right.
Until next time when we talk about Jason Bourne, everything is possible, but nothing is real. And Shakma.
Shakma.